Hello and welcome to the video. This is the maiden of this thing here. Now this is a Dart 250G. I've had it for quite a long time. Originally it had a co-pilot in it, a VC400 at the front, and it was a lovely little model, but in reality I wasn't flying it a lot, and that was because I'm kind of used to INAV now. I like my on-screen display. So I wanted to put INAV in it, and it was kind of a little project for Lockdown 3.0 here in the UK. And I'm pleased to say I've only got this thing maidened. However, it hasn't been completely smooth sailing, and sometimes this happens with a build, even to people like me who build lots and lots of stuff. Occasionally you get a model that just really is quite grumpy and fights you every step of the way. Now the original flight controller for this was going to be the Racer F405. Trying to launch that, the auto launch was struggling, hit the ground, the F405 broke loose, some pins must have touched something else, something weird happened, fried part of the flight controller, also sadly killed my VTX as well. So I ended up getting this thing in here. In here is the Maytech 411 WSE, a cracking little board for things like this. Popped it in here and tried to maiden it again, and it didn't go smoothly. So there are some little tips I'll give you in this. If you're going to do INAV on a 250G, there are some extra things that you need to consider over what I would normally do for an INAV setup. So again, if you are new to INAV, check out my INAV for Beginners 2020 series. I go through every individual step, with the exception of the couple of things I'm about to cover. That covers everything you need to do to go from right from the beginning to have it all ready to fly. So let me talk about some of the problems that I had with this. Once all the electronics were in here, going out to the field again, trying to do auto launch, it was just going into the ground. And I had a couple of attempts and then thought, you know what, let's just go back to the lab and let me just kind of plug it in and have a little play. The settings on this, it was the default launch angle for INAV, and it just didn't seem to be enough. It didn't seem to have enough power. Now I've heard of other people getting in touch with me that says they encounter these kind of issues. So let me run through the things that I checked to make sure that this thing wasn't okay and that I hadn't got an issue. First of all is I checked my prop was on the right way round. It can be easy when you are distracted to put your prop on backwards and you get only a very small amount of the thrust you should from the prop that's on the back. I've done it now and again, and I've a friend in particular who's a tinker. He always jokes that there's a 50-50 chance of getting the prop on the right way. It's actually not 50, it's 25%, because you can have it forwards and backwards, and clockwise and clockwise. But anyway, invariably he gets it wrong. But you know what? Worth a check. So I checked that. I also made sure that the prop nut was nice and tight so I wasn't getting any slippage, because my thinking was, it's either not getting enough thrust to get the lift, or INAV isn't pulling the nose up. So the other thing I checked was also the centre of gravity. If I pop my fingers on the balance points moulded under the wing, nice job ZOHD, does it balance on my fingertips? And it does, and the centre of gravity for this does need to be where these little moulded marks are, so make sure you're absolutely spot on. Next thing I did was make sure that the ESC was calibrated. The calibration routine, you can do it from inside INAV. You can actually enable the throttle channel, take the throttle to the top position, and then plug the battery in, and then drop the throttle down to 0 in configurator, and then you'll get everything done. I had calibrated the ESC, and there was a question in my mind, had I messed that up? It would be possible. Luckily, no, I hadn't, but it's definitely worthwhile checking. A simple way to check it is take the prop off, plug it into configurator, connect your battery, and then on your throttle slider in configurator, take it from 0, and as soon as you start moving it, it should start the motor running. And you should hear the whine increase right the way to the very top position. If it does, then you've probably calibrated it okay. Next thing I looked at was how much more nose up do I need for the model? Is it general nose up? Because normally a plane doesn't fly completely straight and level. It actually flies slightly nose up. It's usually anywhere between 4 to 8 degrees, depending on the kind of model, is the kind of range that you're looking at. The other thing as well is, how is it going to work on the auto launch? Because normally you're going to need a little bit of up tilt. Now the way it works on this model is with the flight controller sat in the position, sat level where it needs to be, you need to give it about a 5-degree offset. So when you push the nose up a little bit, you get it straight and level, and that's how I maidened mine here. But I did increase the up angle from, I think the default's 18 or 22 degrees for auto launch in INAV, up to a whopping 30 degrees, which is miles more than I would normally use. But I was just, whatever I seemed to do, it just seemed to want to just fly into the ground on auto launch. And for those of you that see my auto launch videos, you'll know that that's quite unusual. Auto launch is pretty spot on. Now the 2-bladed prop on this is a 5-inch prop with a 5-inch pitch. And that's designed for the 2S battery, and then you have the smaller 3-bladed prop for 3S. I'm running it on 3S, but I went down to the 2-bladed prop. Lots of pilots do this on this model to give them a little bit more headroom, particularly for things like launching, and it's working fine. It stresses the battery a little bit at full throttle, but I think the battery is a bit old in here anyway. So that's the first thing I did to give me the maximum amount of thrust to help with the launch. I increased the throttle for launch. Normally the INAV Autolaunch throttle, I have it on about 1900. I popped it up to a full 2000, so it's full throttle. And the other thing I did is, again, I increased that launch angle from 22 degrees or 18 degrees, whatever it is by default, to a whapping 30 degrees, and went out to the field again. The good news is this time it worked beautifully, exactly as I would have hoped. The battery freaked out when the throttle was running at 100%, and it wasn't an ideal day. There was a little bit of a breeze around, but once it was in the air, I could fly around and have an absolutely wonderful time with the model. At 50% throttle, it's flying very nicely, although with this 2-bladed prop on 3S, actually a third throttle seems to be very happy. It is very affected by wind, unfortunately, so do be aware of that. The bouncing around that you can see in this video was absolutely due to the fact that above treetop height there was a nice little stiff breeze on this beautiful sunny morning, and a little bit of noise from the Foxeer camera in the nose, but the maiden flight finally went well. So if I were going to build this again, would I change anything? No, not really. The way it's working is really nice, as per the INAV for Beginners Series 2020. Only a couple of things, key things to remember. Central gravity needs to be where the points are. I would absolutely recommend that you increase the auto launch angle to 30 degrees. And as I said, you ideally want an offset of about 5 to 6 degrees with the flight controller sat flat on its default position, so that that slightly nose up attitude means that at cruising speed it isn't losing height. Definitely recommend using a good battery. The 850 I've got in here is showing its age a little bit. When I really give it the beans and open the throttle, particularly with this larger 2-bladed prop, it's just pulling the voltage down, and the INAV telemetry stuff is freaking out, but I can get a reasonable amount of flight time. If you want to use something like a 2-pack lithium ion in this, which would actually be a really cute way to fly, you get very, very long flight times. I can't get it in here because it's too much nose weight. If you're going to do that, put as much of the other electronics as you possibly can out here at the back to try and balance it out. If I did another one, I might try for a lithium ion up here and maybe move everything as far back as I possibly can. Maybe even have to put the odd little 10 gram weight at the very back just to kind of get the balance right. That is the only other thing I'll mention. The GPS, some people commented that that wasn't a great place to put it. I've never had this canopy pop off, even in some pretty horrendous crashes with it. But if you wanted to put it in a different place, particularly as we're talking about having it in a rearward position, it could go somewhere out here. There's probably just enough space to put it on there, and that might again help move a little bit of weight to the back. But this has been perfectly fine, and there's enough of a flying lead, so if it does pop off, it's only ever going to just pull the connector off the flight controller, and if that happens, that's no big deal to just push it back into place. So there you have it. That was the trials and tribulations of me getting a model into the air. This ZOHD 250G with INAV is a fun little model. I actually probably prefer the Dart over this. it's a little bit more room with everything in it. And again, with the Dart, I actually put one of the Runcam hybrids in the front. So again, I get that HD recording. But this is a really fun little model. Still little bits of water dripping out of it. I was actually flying it this morning. So if you have one, you've been thinking about sticking INAV in it, my advice would be do it. You won't be disappointed. Thank you for spending your time today watching that video. You can find me in all the usual places on social media, and if you're trying to learn about a subject, then check out the playlist. All of my videos are organized into easy to follow playlists that if you're trying to learn a topic will take you from the basics right the way through to some pretty advanced stuff.